Hello and welcome. So today we're going to build a simple integration using Dell Boomi. So this is the requirement. Let's say that we have a web application that will be sending JSON data, and what we want to do is consume that JSON data, transform the JSON to CSV, and then just drop that onto a disk for further processing. So we're going to start from scratch and then kind of go through all of these. We'll first start by creating a new folder. Web app to disk, call it something like that. So we'll come here and we'll create a new component, and then we'll create a new process component. So we'll go ahead and click on create, and then we'll just start by naming it. So let's see. The first thing we will need to build a web server, because the web server will be listening to the API, and then once it gets that data, it will go ahead and start the processing. So we'll call this a web server, and then we're going to be listening. The operation, we don't have one, so we're going to be creating a new one. Whenever it says for processes starting with a listen action, we recommend that you disable capture run data and enable allow some simultaneous execution. So we're just going to click make the recommended changes for me, and then we're going to create a new operation. So we're going to click on new, and then it will be a get. Let's say we're going to call this get members, and then the object name that we'll be getting will be called members. And if you take a look, it's gonna kind of create the path for you. The expected input is saying that, hey, what are you expecting to receive? So we will be expecting a single JSON object, and then it's asking, okay, so then what does the JSON object look like? We're gonna go ahead and create a new JSON profile. So we'll go ahead and click on, say, members JSON, and then click on import profile, click on choose, and then church data.json. This is it for a church. Whenever somebody fills out a contact card, we just want to save that information to disk. Okay. So back to this. So we'll go ahead and click on and choose, and this is what the JSON kind of looks like. Really, so it will have all the members, and then it will have, let's say, ID, a member ID, the name, and this is probably something that will be automatically generated in the web application. It will have their name, the address, their phone number, their baptized, their birthday, gender, and marital status, and then just a couple of fields here, and then the same thing repeats. Okay. So back to this. You might be asking, so what would you get? This is something that you would probably get from either the web developer or from the web application, the sample payload that you'll be receiving. So you go ahead and click on next, and then it will tell you like, okay, this is a valid JSON object. So you click on finish, and then you just kind of want to look through to make sure that everything looks like it's supposed to be. So how this is structured, you see we have a member object, and then inside of that we have an array of members. So then you see that for each one we have an ID, name, which is the name, which is an array as well. The name has first name and last name. Address has as an object under that, and it has the street, the city, state, zip, and then the other things as well. Maybe later on I will show you how to manually create this, but it's just a lot easier if you do it. You import a profile, it just goes a little bit faster. Click on actually save and close. We will be getting data into this process. That's what we're going to be doing, and we'll be getting a JSON object, and then this is what the request profile looks like. Okay, we'll click on save and close. Okay, and then we click on OK. So once so then the first thing is kind of completed, we set up the web service server. So then what we have to do, because now this is becoming as a JSON, so we just want to convert the JSON to CSV. So we'll do that using the map shape, and then the map shape really converts one profile element to a different profile. So we'll go ahead and click on the plus to create a new profile. We'll create a new map. So we'll call this, let's say, JSON to CSV. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and click on choose here, and then we'll choose the same profile that we'll be getting from the via the API. We'll choose the same profile. So we're going to click on JSON, and then we'll click on profile. I think members JSON is what I called it. Click on OK, and just make sure it's the same one here. Yep, it's the same one. Okay, and then the CSV. Now what you can do is, you can just convert this JSON to CSV, and then you can just come to Google. If you click on Google, you can do something like JSON to CSV converter. I'll use whichever one here, and then you can just literally just come here, Control C, Control V. Now if this is a live data, I would say just make sure that you're not pasting any in production data. You just post maybe like sample data just like this, John Doe and things like that, so that you are not potentially inputting sensitive information. Or you could actually use like a Visual Studio Code to convert your JSON to CSV. Once you have this, you go ahead and click on download results. So this is the result that it will show you here, that they converted that JSON object to CSV. So you can download the results, and then you should have something like this here. Okay, let me open this real quick. Okay, now if you take a look, I actually just formatted it a little bit, because once you download it, it has this member ID and the member name, first name and last name, kind of like that. I just removed all of those and then just had a simple first name, last name, date of birth, and then marital status like that. Okay, we'll go ahead and come here. Once you have that, click on choose. We do flat file, and the profile will create a new one, members CSV. Okay, now what you have to do is you want to come to options, and then since our file has headers, so we want to make sure that we click on use column headers. Okay, and then the file type, the one that will be important, what file type are we going to be importing, or what file type are we going to be exporting as well, because if it's a profile, that's the same thing that it's going to be using. So it's a delimited file type. File delimiter says what type of delimiter is the file. This is a CSV, so it's comma delimited. And then the text qualifier, you can just leave it as any. Right now most of the time it's double quoted or single quoted, double quoted, to make sure that every other if there's like a coded let's say a comma or something like that, it captures that as well. But I'll just leave this for now. We'll go ahead and click on save and close, and then we'll click on OK. Actually, sorry, I don't think I imported it. So yep, so comma delimited, and then we'll go ahead and click on here, click on the first record. This is delimited, comma delimited, and then we're gonna go ahead and click on import. Okay, and then click on choose, and then we'll navigate to that file that you then downloaded and edited. If you edited it, you go ahead and click on open, click on next, and then it will show you a sample of what it might look like. So it has the name, first name, last name, street, phone, date joined, baptized, marital status, and click on finish. And we'll give it a second here. You come to data elements, you scroll down the elements, you see that it is brought out all the columns. Sometimes you want to kind of verify the data types as well, that that is what you want. And then you click on save and close, and we'll click on OK. All right, so now we have all of these. We have to basically map this to this. Okay, like we'll map the ID to the ID. Let's say first name to first name first, to then last to last name, street to street, and then let's just try Boomi suggestion and see what it does. 8 suggestion, medium confidence is suggestion. So let's click on next. Get current date, that means it's going to be using like dates. So we're just gonna uncheck all of these. Click on next. They join is good. What it's gonna do here, birth date is good. Marital can go and click on next, click on finish. Let's see which ones he was able to do. He was only able to do this one, so we'll just continue the rest. City to city, state to state, zip to zip, and then phone to phone, and email to email. Okay, and I'll click on save. I'll just double check real quick. Okay, click on save and close. Okay, all right. So what we'll do here, so we'll get the data in as a JSON, convert the JSON to CSV, and then we will want to put that on the disk. So we'll go ahead and grab a disk connector. I've already configured the disk connector, so I'll just use the one that I've already configured. If you haven't done that, you're going to have to go ahead and do that. I'm using a local Atom. That means that I have the Atom installed on this computer that I am currently using. So I'll use a local drive, and then we'll do a send. The operation is just we don't have one yet, so we're just gonna go ahead and click on this one. Send to disk. Save and close. We'll click on OK. Click on OK. All right. The other thing is we're gonna set the name of the file. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do a set properties and click on configure. And what we do, we want to send. So it's gonna be connector, and then we'll do disk connector. What part of the disk connector do we want to configure? So we're going to configure the file name, and then let's say we'll just use the current date and time. Okay, and then we'll add .csv to that. CSV. So basically what this is you're saying that for the disk connector that is going to be coming, I want the file name of that file that I'm going to be saving to be the current date and time .csv. Or what you could do, you could do something like this as well. You could do current date and time, and then maybe something else. Let's see. Profile element. We can do something like the profile element, the flat file, members .csv. We just say, let's say the record. And then .csv. So it's like really dynamic. And click on OK, and then we'll do that, connect this to this, and then we'll put a stop shape here. Okay, click on arrange to kind of arrange this a little bit more. Click on save. Okay, so this is kind of built out now. When it comes to a web service, you can't really test. So if you click on test, it will tell you, hey, Boomi doesn't currently support direct testing of listener processes. So we have to build a web, the API, get them deployed, and then we can test it. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and call this process getting JSON, sending CSV, something like that. Okay, click on save. Okay, so that's the process here, getting JSON, sending CSV. So let's go ahead and create a new component. We'll go ahead and create a API servers. Click on create. We'll name it this same thing. Yeah, then getting JSON, sending CSV, something like that. Publish API title, so say get underscore members. The published version will say 1.0. So the description say getting members and saving to disk, something like that. Disk. Okay, and then the base API path will say the same thing here. Okay, click on save, and then we'll say what type of API we're gonna do a REST, and then we'll just say help me create an endpoint. We'll say use an existing process to create an endpoint. It's a REST endpoint. It's a REST, and then we'll choose this one. Getting JSON send CSV. I think that's the one that we used. Click on finish. Okay, I think we are about done. Oh, actually, so this API service that we just created. So if you take a look, the method right now is get. That's now what we want. We want it to be somebody to be able to post to this. So we'll go ahead and click on edit endpoint. Instead of get, we'll do a post. Click on save that, and I think we are almost ready to rock and roll. Let me just check this here. Check the web service. So this is get, and that one is posting, so somebody can post to this, and then this will get that and then send it through. Okay, beautiful. Okay, now the last thing that we need to do really is get these deployed. So we have the API, and then we have the process. So we'll go ahead and click on create package component. So this is the API service. We want to get the process as well. So come here, get the process, and then the API. Lex. We see 1.0 for the version. We see initial deployment. Create package components, and we'll say deploy. To the environment local item, we'll say initial deployment. Okay, select versions, review, and then deploy. All right, so now what? View deployment. So this has been these two have been deployed to the local item. So we're gonna kind of mimic somebody sending data to this API service, and then hopefully we'll go through and save that to the disk. To get the URL to actually post to this or send information to this API service, if you go to manage atom management, and then we come to environment, and then we come to listeners, no, not listeners, shared web services. Okay, so this will be the first part of your URL. So we'll copy this. Okay, we'll copy this and we'll use something like Postman. So we'll go ahead and come here. I think I was testing this, so I'll just go ahead and paste this real quick here. Okay. Alright, so that's the first part of the URL. Okay, and then if we go back to the process build, and then we go to the process, and then here, and then we go to the web service. This will be the other part of the URL. Copy that. Okay. And then the endpoint that the object that we are hidden is actually /member. So I'm gonna add that to the /members. Okay. And then so basically the body that we'll be expecting will be something like this. So we'll be this is what the profile that we had used, so it's expecting something like this. So if we come here, let's say this, we have 2 people, or we have, let's just do 1 actually for now. Okay, so let's come here and go to body, and then go ahead and paste that in the body. I think my JSON is not valid. So let's see. We're just gonna minimize a couple of members. So we're just gonna use one. Okay. All right. So let's say there's just one person that is going through. So we can click on send, and the moment of truth. Let's see if that works. Seems like it worked. Okay. It worked because it says status is 200. Okay. So if we come here and then we go to manage process reporting, we should see that here. I had a couple of I was doing some testing here. So if we come here, it says that we received one in, and then one document in, one document out. So if you come here, it says, hey, I received this document, view document. Okay, this is what I got. And then at the bottom here, the disk connector, view document. So this is like the CSV that it sends out. So it says it's here. This is the directory that it sent it to. So let's come here and take a look. And it called it this 054 whatever that CSV. So I think 01, it will be this one. So if you open that, okay, so that's the file right here. Okay, so basically that's how it is. And now the way I have it, it's not actually gonna use the same file. It's just gonna create a new file name every time. So in case I send another one, so let's say if I have a JSON with maybe a couple of more people, if I send it, and then we come here, I think there's this one right here, open that. If you see two people, because there's John Doe and Jane Smith, and they are here. Okay, maybe next time, there's things you can really extend this a little bit more and make it a little bit more robust. Some things you could do, there's a lot of things that you could do, but I just wanted to really show you a simple way of setting up an API server, a web server, setting up an API in front of it, and then kind of get some data and then put it somewhere. So hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for watching.